Today I'm going to talk about experiential learning and how that applies to Toastmaster learning experience. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, guests, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to talk about this because there's a man very important in this role, that is David Kolff. He born in 1939. He was professor, dedicated his life to the education. He prepared many professionals in that area. And his biggest achievement and contribution to the educational program was precisely the experiential learning. Regarding to him, he divided in 3 stages: the process, the forms, and the styles. And before I move forward, I would like to have a volunteer here, and maybe Tammy, can you help me? You are very close to me. I'm gonna ask you to come back in the time and remember the first time you presented your icebreaker. And I want you to tell us in few words and describe what was your experience before, during, and after your presentation of your first icebreaker. Please.
My first icebreaker was in probably March of 2015 to my home club, Find Your Voice Toastmasters. We had not even chartered by then. It was Brothers, what's it called? Brothers Basketball, something about brothers in basketball. And I had not made an organized speech in a long time. Even though I was a speech major in college and did tournament work in high school, I was very, very nervous. So I chose a topic that I knew a lot about, my brothers and basketball. I had my jersey, I had my Bob Cousy jersey, that's what I used for my conclusion. See, I really am a basketball fan. And I was quite nervous, but when it was over, it was this relief, a lot of relief. I got through it, I could do this.
Okay, I'm sure that after your speech, you receive an evaluation.
Yes.
But right before or in between your speech and the evaluation, would you please tell us what were your thoughts or what kind of conclusion you got in between, before the evaluation?
What I thought of my performance?
Yes.
I thought I did a good job. I got my points across. Again, I kept it very simple, something I couldn't really screw up. And I was eager to hear the evaluation of the evaluator, because a lot of times we speak in places and we don't know how it was received. So I was excited about the evaluation.
Then you received your evaluation. And then right after you received your evaluation, I'm sure that you get a conclusion with your experience during your speech. Then what you have your thoughts after the speech and then with your evaluation. Would you please share as well in few words, how was your conclusion?
The evaluation was very positive because I was a brand new Toastmaster. I had not even paid my dues yet. But I can tell you the creative juices were starting to flow, and I could not wait to make my next speech. That's what was on my mind. When do I get to speak again?
Perfect. Now, from that first experience to your second speech, I would like to tell also in few words, if you apply the conclusion you got in your first experience to your second speech, what was the experience that you get from the first and get it in use to the second one? Did you use that?
I would say yes. The thing is we ended up in a different meeting room. We were in a gym. We were in a corner of a gym. So you had to project, and the acoustics were terrible compared to a room half of this size. So that was a little disarming to me. I made a speech on how to buy a car. These 3 organized points: do this, do this, do this. So again, it was really quite simple organization, but I was very taken aback by the environment.
That's good. Thank you very much, Tammy. Having said that, I'm gonna explain the process that Mr. Kolff goes in 4 steps, or 4 steps. The first one is the concrete experience, which we already talked about. In this case, I'm gonna use Tammy's example. Like, for her experience on her icebreaker would say that it's a concrete experience. Then after that, she had a time before she receives the evaluation to go to the second stage, that is the reflective observation. After that, she receives an evaluation, and then she goes to the third step, that is the abstract concept, kind of conclusion. And then after that, she put all together and prepare her second speech or her second project, and then she goes to the active experience, it's the active experiencing. The way that experimentation, the way that it goes in the cycle doesn't mean that has to be for everyone the same, but at least this professor is describing how the process can go in circles. That's what I call it, like cycle. I'm going to use also the experience when you buy a new mobile phone. When you get a new mobile phone, you get out of the box, and then you know how to turn it on. Then you start clicking here, clicking here, clicking here, clicking, until you get it done. You get it on, and then what is the first screen you see? Well, let's set up, right? And you start setting up your telephone. Then after that, what happens? You set it up and you have this home screen. You have a lot of icons and a lot of stuff, and you don't know what it is, but you start clicking on them. Then when you put this in the same cycle, what happens? You have the complete experience when you get your phone out of the box. Then you start getting thoughts and concepts when you start setting up. Then you get a conclusion. When you set it up and you see the home screen, you have your conclusion. And then you go again with the active experimentation, because you already know what is in your phone, so you already can start moving your phone. So that's simple, but it's a good example to use a mobile phone because everyone has one, right? Then not everyone's learning the same way or in the same pace. So there are forms, and it's the second way that Mr. Cole explains how we learn. Some of us would like to observing and reflecting. Some others would like the experimentation actively. Some others would like to develop concepts, and some others like doing. I would like you to take a moment and think about what is your form to learn. When you start learning something, every moment in life you're learning something. Well, what is your preference in this case? You like first to observing and reflecting, or you like learning by doing, or maybe developing concepts? Just please take a moment and write down what is your style. As I said, everyone has one different. For example, can be someone that starts with the application. Maybe from the application go to the experience, then go to the reflection, and then go to the conceptualization. That would be one case that the 4 steps going in different order or different way. Or for example, someone can start reflection, then goes to the conceptualization, go with experience, and then the application. And finally, the other one can start with the reflection, then conceptualization, then get the experience, and finally the application. I would like you to come to the club meetings and start thinking about the roles that we have in one of our meetings. For example, when you are the evaluator, you are, for example, Tammy is the evaluator. So she is now observing and reflecting. She's in that process. Then she's gonna start going with the concept. She start writing out notes. Then she's gonna come and do the evaluation. So that is gonna be the experience, for example. I would like for some of you, if you wanna share with me, for example, the grammarian, if you can tell me how you can apply the 4 steps, in this case, the experiential learning steps, when you are the grammarian.
I'm a doer first. I'm the one that takes whatever that piece is and has to try it out for myself. So as the grammarian, I'm going to take that role, listen to what I'm doing, what other people are saying in the meeting. Then I'm going to take that back and I'm going to reflect on how did they do certain things that I'm working on. Like they don't say and a lot, how do they not say and? And then take that back. So I'm going to start by doing. And and
Okay.
then I'll reflect.
Perfect. Perfect. Someone else that wants to tell me, for example, the table topics, when you do the table topics in a club, what would be the process, the table topics? You start from the concept maybe, because you start planning how you're gonna do table topics, and then what is the next step? Someone wants to share with me when it's table topics? Rhonda?
I guess when the question is asked, you form a really quick concept and you experiment actively, right? You see what works, and then, of course, when you sit down, you reflect on what the heck did I just say?
Okay, perfect. If anyone else wants to share, for example, when you are the Toastmaster that requires more preparation, how do you do the experiential learning steps when you are the Toastmaster for a meeting? Javier, you want to share?
Yeah, especially when there's a theme, or clubs hold themed meetings, you think of a theme. So in that case, you would do the conceptualizing part, reflect on how meetings have gone in the past, how they are intended to work, to plan out what it is that you're supposed to do, follow the structure that you're supposed to follow, then apply whatever it is that you're, I guess, apply in preparation, in terms of getting everybody organized and making sure that everything's going to be in play, and then carry out the plan that you set.
Perfect. Perfect. As you may see, the experiential learning process, these 4 steps are very general, but in fact, it's the system that Toastmaster is using. It's not like when you go to school or when you go to college. Toastmaster is more experiential experience. Everyone, in fact, I have seen some members that are sitting there for months and they don't dare to come and do a speech, because first they start with this reflecting, observing, and creating concepts, but they don't dare to stop here and do the active experiential. Why? Because their style is not yet developed. And then, when you are in Toastmaster, you start developing that. Sometimes there are some others that they just join the club one day, and next day they want to come here and do a speech. They don't even know how they're going to do it, but they do it. Why? Because those kind of members are in a specific style of learning that they prefer to learn here, doing things, and then receiving the feedback, which is good as well. There are 2 more concepts in the David Cole experiential learning. He said that perception and processing are 2 big parts on this, because the way we see things and the way we do things are making a difference. And those, when you bring them to the 4 steps, you can see that when you have the concrete experience and then the abstract concept, then those goes by perception. But when you go to the reflective concepts, and then you go with the active experimentation, you see that those are more for processing. It's interesting how this man, David Cole, is putting 2 more perspectives. How you perceive. When you're learning, how you perceive things. And that's what makes difference to all of us. What happened? Nothing. Good. And everyone has different preferences, right? As we talked before. And now, from those preferences, Mr. Cole developed 4 styles as well, which is the 3rd stage on his process. And we have the style that is the divergent style, then the assimilator, the convergent, and the usher. I would like you to pay attention to this, because when we finish this presentation, I would like you to identify which one goes for you. We already talked about the forms. Some of you like to first reflect and observe. Some of you like to create concepts. Some of you would like to start doing. Now, let's see the styles, and then you are going to tell me what is the form you like to learn, and what is the style that you believe that you are when you're learning, okay? So I'm gonna go with the first one, which is the divergent. The divergent goes with a concrete experience, which is how we feel. And then with the reflective observation, that is observe. When you add feel and observe, that's the divergent. And those are the ones who are analysts. Those who analyze everything. Those are the kind of divergent personality. The second one, that is in between the reflective observation, which is observe, and the abstract conceptualization, which is think. Those are the assimilators, which is observe and think. And would say that those who are organized can go into this style. Those who like to organize things or are very organized. The next one, which is the convergent, it goes in the middle of the abstract conceptualization and the active experimentation, which is think plus do. Those are the ones who like to resolve conflicts. Those problem solvers, they are convergent. And the last style, the usher. The usher goes in between the active experimentation and the concrete experience, which is do plus feel. Those are the impulsive. Those who are impulsive, the ones that like to take risk, those are the ushers. Then we have all together here. And when I have all together here, I would like now for you to think for a few moments and write out which of the forms is your own learning experience and what is your style. Okay? Can I start with Yvette? Can you help me tell me what is your form to learn and your style according to Mr. Cole? Okay, so you are like the usher? The usher? Okay. Rhonda?
I'm the convergent.
The convergent? Okay. Problem solver? Okay.
I have that.
What else? Kim?
Definitely usher.
Okay. So you are impulsive,
Oh, yeah.
taking risk.
Oh, yeah.
Becky? Well, Becky.
I'm sort of between a simulator and convergent.
Okay, so you are in between those two. So you are organized and you like to resolve conflicts as well. That's good.
I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. I'm looking at the rows. I think there's times that I'm different ones, but I would think probably overall convergent.
Convergent? So you are a problem solver. That's good. When I first started doing this experiential learning presentation, I was thinking how to bring this to the club experience. Because usually when you are in the club, you are just there, but you are not thinking what you're really getting from the club. You just go there, and if someone asks, hey, could you do the grammar? You say, oh, okay, I do it. But you never think about that there is more than just go and do the role. You start taking more conscious about what it is, then probably you can make this experience rich, that's why experiential learning is helping us. And this guy, I believe that this story of Mr. David Cole is very interesting because in these three stages, the cycle, the forms, and the styles, you can really identify where you are. And also, if you are a mentor, when you have a protege, you can tell them or you can identify which mode you can use and what is the protege is using as a learning process. Because some of you maybe it's like me that I'm more impulsive. I am usher as well. I like to take risks. I like to go and no matter what, I'm gonna take the risk. But well, that's my style. And when I understand my style, I understand many other things that I did before. I didn't know why. In conclusion, every moment in life is an experience. And it's up to you if you make it work in your life. Mr. Toastmaster.